Hey guys, Alex here. Hope you guys are enjoying the intro to spring weather here. In this video, I just want to talk about what material to choose for your structure. A lot of people, one of the first things you have to do is determine what your building is going to be made out of, basically. So with pretty much any building, you're going to have certain components to that structure: foundation, walls, and roofing and utilities, windows and doors. So when you're thinking about building an alternative kind of structure using alternative building materials, the wall material is going to be the one interchangeable variable in most cases. The other stuff kind of stays the same most of the time, but the wall system that you decide on is going to have a huge significance in the type of building that you create. So, what I focus on is cob buildings mostly, and so that wall system is replaced with a cob wall system. I also focus on straw clay, like what's behind me here. This is a straw clay house. And then rammed earth is kind of my third main focus. So cob, straw clay, and rammed earth. And I bring those up specifically because I have an upcoming workshop in April where we're going to be focusing hands-on on these three particular materials. We're actually going to be building a rammed earth wall over here. Going to be building a straw clay house, packing the walls just like this one, and we're going to be building with cob as well. So that's kind of a special workshop. I don't usually teach all three, and then in May, June, July I've got cob and straw clay, so you'll get to learn those two specifically, which are actually my two favorites, my two go-tos. But anyway, so a lot of people are trying to figure out what material to use, and that's why people are coming to my classes. A big reason why, so they can experience all these materials hands-on and how to build them and integrate all the components together. But basically, yeah, you're going to have your basic house components, and then you're going to replace the wall system with whatever wall material or system you want to use. So in the case of cob and rammed earth, they're really in the same category. They're earth-based materials. They're thermal mass materials. They have the same earth-based properties. Whereas straw clay, or let's say straw bale or hempcrete, they're different. They're first of all, they're not load-bearing materials, really. They're more infill, as you can see here. It's infilled between the framing, and straw clay and any straw or fiber-based material has high insulation, very low thermal mass. So cob and straw fiber-based materials are total opposites on the spectrum: thermal mass versus insulation. A lot of people don't understand that right off the bat, so that's something I focus in on a lot in the workshops. Some of the main differences you'll come across when trying to decide what material to use is the type of foundation you'll end up having to build. So because cob and rammed earth, in any earth-based wall, high thermal mass wall is going to be extremely heavy. It's considered a masonry material. It's basically a massive stone wall in a way. It pretty much weighs the same. And if I go around the corner here, I'd show you my little cob structure, and it's just a big solid, basically a sandstone building. It's very similar. So the foundation has to be reinforced in most cases, whereas with the straw clay or hempcrete or fiber-based wall system, it's a much lighter wall, so you don't need such a thick reinforced foundation most of the time. And then when it comes to roofing, you're going to have different roof attachment systems if it's a framed structure versus a load-bearing mass wall like cob or rammed earth. There's different roof attachment systems. There's going to be different ways that you integrate window attachments and door attachments. They're both slightly different, and they integrate differently. So that's something I'll show you at the workshops in depth, especially because I have examples here. You'll see all that stuff in person. Let's see. The plaster application is very different. For rammed earth, most people don't do any plaster or rendering because they like the different layers or striations in the walls. It's very artistic. With cob, it's nice because you can just apply the plaster directly onto the wall itself. There's not as much plaster preparations to do. Straw clay or straw bale or hempcrete, they require the most plaster prep work. You can't really see it all here, but you have to cover all the wood framing with either a wire plaster lath or sometimes this drywall mesh tape. So there's a lot of prep work involved when plastering over the straw-based materials. So that's a disadvantage to the straw clay, in my opinion. Not a big deal. None of these are deal breakers. They all have pros and cons, each system. The main difference, remember though, is that the fiber-based materials have high insulation, low thermal mass, whereas cob has high thermal mass, very low insulation. So a straw clay building, for example, is going to hold really well whatever temperature you inject into that structure. It's just going to hold that really well. Whereas with a cob building, let's say, has low insulation value, so it doesn't hold that temperature as well. It's going to lose it faster. However, it has the ability to just naturally regulate that indoor temperature without the need for any systems injecting a hot or cold temperature into the room. So they both have pros and cons, but they are different. Those are just some of the major differences, pros and cons off the top of my head. Again, I've got these upcoming workshops. A lot of people have been asking me about the different systems and materials, so it's been kind of on my mind. I've got 3 big projects here going on. I have a straw clay house a couple minutes away at a friend's property. I've been building that all winter and framing up the walls right now, and that's going to be ready for the workshops. We're going to be building those straw clay walls. Then here I've got a big rammed earth wall. We're going to be building this in April during the workshop. And now I have a big, massive cob wall I'm putting up in the back. And it's basically going to be like as much cob as building a little house, except it's just an outdoor wall system. Really going to be awesome. It's going to have an arched doorway in the middle of it, going back up the trail in the woods. So I've got that project too. So there's 3 massive projects for me. I'm juggling all these things. Plus I'm trying to make the new video course. I've got the core content all put together. I just had to add the audio to it, voice over it now, and then I'll probably release that early, because then I have all the other video content for the course I still need to create. I'm completely recreating the cob video course. Like, everything is going to be new and updated. It's going to be on a new platform as well. I'm putting it on Kajabi, just a better platform. Plus it has a mobile app, so you can just get on the course with your phone really easily too. So I've got tons of projects going on all at once, so things are kind of slow progress, but a lot of stuff is coming together. So just stay tuned And if you want to come out and learn with me this spring and summer, remember I've got a bunch of workshops going on. Links are down below to sign up for those, or just go to the website, thiscobhouse.com. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. If you have questions, just leave them down below, and I'll get to those soon. Thanks.